Hello.
Yeah, good you.
What's cracking?
Oh, you know, mate. Feels like we're just recovering from one epic weekend of racing, heading into another. It's the best time of year, isn't it?
Mate, it's unbelievable. I think I just sat down because I was just giving him a standing O at home.
Giving Big I a standing O. Yeah, you won't see many better runs than that.
It was just simply dominant from start to finish, wasn't it?
Yep.
I think it's the most dominant in a handicap race. I think the most dominant performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, right up there for me too. And look, he did exactly what we thought he'd do. Lead from the gate, sit about top 4 or 5, find some cover. Just didn't realise that for most of the race he'd be about 4 or 5 wide. Unbelievable.
It was a huge effort, and tell you what, he has plenty of ticker, plenty of bucky in him.
Oh, yeah. Huge amounts of bucky.
Like figuratively and literally, I reckon. I reckon he has a huge heart.
Has to have a big heart, a real Farlap-esque type heart, real Might and Power-esque type heart. Yeah, I had a feeling about him, and I know a lot of punters did, leading into the spring off the back of his dominant performances. But his dominant performances, he wasn't beating much.
Mm-mm.
And I had a bit of a feeling, you know what, he might be a pretty good horse, but I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations.
I believe so. All the data gurus loved him, from the start.
Yeah.
I was a late adopter, but I'm happy to be on board.
The big eye, you've got to be, mate. He's a Queenslander.
Yeah. And how's other bookies just paying him out early? Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, they must have crunched the numbers and thought, you know what, if we do this now, we'll probably save ourselves a lot of money come Cup Day. And also gives the punters some more cash to play with this weekend.
Well, I would imagine so. I would imagine so. And Cox Plate, Moonee Valley, the exact same thing happened last year as it kind of is this year. A lot of rain scheduled, some rain scheduled. And I'm just on the fence of because do you remember the Manikato Stakes night last year?
Yeah, I do.
Where I had Diamond Effort going at 34s.
Mm-hmm.
And the forecast during the week was like, this thing is going to be wet.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got scratched about 20 minutes before the race because it was hard.
Yeah.
The rain scheduled is max 15 mil. And everyone's like, it's going to be a soft 7.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't understand it because they're going to have to water it. The last rain that they've had at the track was on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, well, the Moonee Valley deck's different to Flemington and Caulfield, clearly because it's a different track, but because of the soil and the actual grass itself. So I think naturally for the horses, their toe digs in a bit anyway. So a good 4 at Moonee Valley is going to suit a horse who likes a bit of a wet dick better than a horse who's running on, say, a good 4 at Flemington, which can be really, really hard on the hooves, mate. Again, we don't walk the track. We don't know.
We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've never set foot inside Moonee Valley.
No, I haven't seen the blades of grass there.
No, but I would love to.
Yes, before the development, which I actually tried to look up the other day. It's very how's it going?
Is it still sitting in approvals and stuff like that? Or
I think it's been approved. I think they've started planning it out. It's just, these things take time. And
they do.
No solid time because they're going to have to move the Cox Plate to Flemington or Caulfield or something. I'm fairly sure.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
Anyway,
what about the Everest? Thoughts?
I thought it was a race in 2. I thought it was either NS or Classic Legend. The Classic, on reflection, Classic Legend was a dumb bet because, look, he was a fantastic. he is a fantastic horse, but that is a hell of an effort to try and go, you've had one run in a year, you're 300 days off. Should have done more research. He was only out of quarantine for 7 weeks, so he was only 7 weeks in work, and he ran 5th.
Yeah, so a huge run. Yeah, that was way too big of a query for mine to have him on top. Jeez. Tell you what, if our boy Eduardo Cesar legs got out of the way, I think there'd be a lot of punters out there who'd be happy chappies if they backed Masked Crusader, because he was coming home like a freight train. I thought Nature Strip had it in the bag 100 metres out. I was like, too easy. He'll win by half a length. Masked Crusader had other ideas, but...
Yeah, the jocks weren't sure, were they?
They were not.
Yeah, but... sure, Masked Crusader was lucky, but he also missed the start by 2 lengths.
Yeah.
Which he just constantly does.
Yeah, so if you're going to back him... Yeah, he needs to run absolutely super. He needs to get the breaks. He needs all the luck, and that's why it's so tough to back him when he's paying sub 3s, because in the Everest, if you jumped on it at $9, yeah, great punt,
100%. And I remember this time last year, I was backing him in benchmark 78s, and he was losing.
Yeah. So he's come a long way. Look, he'll run in the Everest again next year, I'd imagine. He'd be 5, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and Nature Strip's getting in granddad years.
Yeah, he's 7. Eduardo's 8.
Yeah.
So
the sprinting ranks aren't as deep as they once were.
No.
So I don't know. Be interesting to see if there's any New Zealanders that come over, any Europeans. I think early days I looked at some of the old fields, because it hasn't always been on Caulfield Cup Day. It changes depending when the NRL Grand Final is, which, again, I think I knew that deep down, but I got reminded of it during the week. But he, the first couple of fields, they were deep fields. They were more than 12 runners.
Yeah.
So, which, in my opinion, just makes it even more impressive that Red Zell just held on and the front runner.
Oh, he's a good boy, Red Zell.
He's a great boy. Mate, on to this week. So, got the Ladbrokes Cox Plate this weekend.
The Ladbrokes Cox Plate. It's a best weight for age race. Always a cracker. Memories of the Mighty Mare 4 times in a row. Some other famous victories. Maccabi Diva.
Yep. League Rocheur.
Yep.
So You Think twice.
Yep. So You Think twice.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Who won it last year? Sir Dragonet. RIP.
Rest in peace, big fella.
Very, very sad news during the week. But it's claimed to be the best 2 minutes in sport, and you can't really argue against that, can you?
Oh, I'm not going to go against Richo.
No.
Because he loves the Cox Plate. I love the Cox Plate. It's a great race. Usually the best horse wins, which is what I like about it. It is interesting too, because obviously Moonee Valley is such an interesting track. Some horses who are champions don't necessarily handle it.
No, and it makes it even more interesting because, there's a bit of mystery and intrigue about Gold Trip.
There is.
And the New Zealand Galloper as well.
Yep. Cool sign.
So, yes. So, it's interesting to see if those runners actually do line up, but we'll get to that eventually, I reckon.
We will. But speaking of Ladbrokes section this week, mate.
Yes.
We'll be talking about 3-year-olds and how they've performed in the Cox Plate in the past, because you've got 2 at the moment. One is very hot in the market. My guy, Animo, the Mo, and Captivant, who I think is a pretty juicy price considering its performance in the Guineas. So we see 3-year-olds all the time carrying only 49.5 kegs in the Cox Plate, and they tend to run pretty well, history says. And we've had some that have had cracking runs in the Cox Plate and then gone on to do bigger and better things. So we're going to be talking about some of them, and maybe we'll get to give you a bit of an idea, drifters, as to whether you should jump on one this weekend. But do you want to kick us off, mate?
So basically, in a nutshell, a recent history of 3-year-olds in the Cox Plate.
Essentially, yeah. That's the topic this week.
I'll kick it off. Well, if we are doing a recent history, I think it makes sense to start with last year.
Yeah.
Grand Slam.
Yeah. Interesting pick in the Cox Plate.
Now, this is where the Moonee Valley Racing Club have their own discretion with picking the field. We saw it during the week. KI Nantique, a Group 1 Japanese Group 1 winner, ran fourth in the Epsom. In my opinion, probably deserved a run.
Oh, look, I'm not an expert, but I'll tell you what, if I was on that panel, I'd probably vote yes. Yeah, included, yeah.
I love Japanese horses? Yes.
Yeah.
I love them. But I think it just would have added another element. And I think
100%.
that's why they love putting 3-year-olds in the race. And that's what they did last year with Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So if you listen to our podcast from last year, it'll basically be this like for like.
Yeah.
Except the very good people at Ladbrokes have jumped on.
Yes.
But Grand Slam, we were very critical of this run.
We were.
And it turned out rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because he finished a distant last.
Stablemate of the winner, though,
Yes.
interestingly enough.
Yes, he was. So he ran third in the lead up in the Caulfield Guineas, which... so you think as a reference point, which you'll probably go over later if you are, he finished fifth in the lead up. So it's like you compare it to that history, like, okay, it kind of makes sense. You can justify it. But what I couldn't cop was this runner getting a start over Buckhurst.
Yeah.
He was the only emergency in the race, and he did get a start because Magic Wand was lame and then later retired. I couldn't understand that because Buckhurst was beating up on Sir Dragonet back in Europe.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been over that so many times, a year ago even.
Yeah.
But after that race, Grand Slam went on to race 5 times. He's still active from what I can see, but he hasn't run for a while. And he's won once at, ironically, the Cox Plate distance at the Valley.
Yes.
Against his own age.
Mm-hmm.
And he beat up on him that day, and I believe it was a leader bias.
Right, okay.
So
yeah.
Yeah. Look, I like that the race club have their discretion because you wouldn't have brilliant stories. Like I'm sure you might mention Sheamus Award.
Yes. Speaking of Sheamus Award.
Let's get into him.
So Sheamus Award was a maiden before the 2013 Cox Plate.
Unbelievable.
And he won it.
What a guy.
Lightly weighted, led, and was just too strong with the 49 and a half kegs on his back. So he only had 14 starts in his career, Sheamus Award, and he only won twice.
Yeah.
Cox Plate won, and Australian Guineas in the autumn afterwards the next. So 2 Group 1s, everything else.
Trained by Danny O'Brien, I believe.
I believe so. And guess who Sheamus Award went on to sire?
Is it Animo? No.
The Big Eye.
Oh, that's right.
Incentivize's father is Sheamus Award. So it's funny how things work because there was an uproar when Sheamus Award, a maiden, got picked to run in the Cox Plate. Imagine if the Moonee Valley Racing Club was like, you know what? Let's not pick him in this. He never wins the Cox Plate. Does he go on to sire anything? And if he does he sire Incentivize, who could go on to be, by the looks, a Hall of Fame racehorse in Australia? Early days, very early days. But he's already won 3 Group 1s. It's funny.
It's a great point you made.
Yeah. So Sheamus Award. So a little bit of information there for you drifters. 2013 Cox Plate winner to tick off the maiden and now has fathered Incentivize.
Unbelievable. 2 years ago, my guy, Castelvecchio. This has to be my favourite ever 2-year-old when he was a 2-year-old. Didn't catch him as a 3-year-old. He was very enigmatic.
Hit and miss. He had his nuts.
He did.
Can't blame him.
No. At the end, he well and truly had his mind on other stuff.
Yeah.
But this has to be one of Craig Williams' best ever losing rides.
Oh, it was unreal.
It was brilliant because he didn't show any toe ever in his 2-year-old or prior 3-year-old season. But he skipped away 400 metres to go, raced on pace, and Willow just put him out there. And he's like, you know what? I'm a featherweight here.
It's going to go for it.
The Japanese horse has to be bloody good to get past me. Turns out she was. She was very, very good, Lee Grasure. But Castelvecchio, I remember thinking immediately after the Rosehill Guineas when he won, I'm like, how did this horse go around at $9? Makes absolutely no sense.
It's a stupid price.
He was runner-up against his own age. He was runner-up in a Cox Plate against the older horses, against his own age, at 2,000 metres. What did we all miss?
I don't know. He's a good horse, Castelvecchio.
He was a brilliant horse. So, yeah.
But the note to take out of that is racing patterns that you might have seen prior from 3-year-olds might not necessarily be the case in the Cox Plate because they are the featherweights.
100%. And it was funny because James Cummings has alluded to today on Thursday that, you know, they want to race Animo to his natural pattern. Do they? Or do they not? Or is that just smoke and mirrors?
Mind games. Mind games. Yeah. Good shout, mate. Look, you mentioned already, So You Think. Has to be on this list. So he finished 5th in the Caulfield Guineas prior to the Cox Plate, but he'd won 2 races prior, and he was racing in a lot of black type stuff. So just his 5th start.
Unbelievable.
In the Cox Plate. 2009. Wins it. Thanks for coming. Okay, cool. Comes back the next year as a 4-year-old, 2010. Wins it. So he's done it lightly weighted. Good on him. Comes back carrying, an extra 8 kegs on his back. I think it's 57 and a half 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Wins it. And then goes on to the Melbourne Cup. First time he's raced further than 2,000 metres. Runs 3rd.
Yeah. Last ever run in Australia.
Yeah.
In the Melbourne Cup.
That's a great horse, So You Think.
And he was unbelievable. One of my favourites back in the day when I was just having, you know,
Little $5 bet.
Dad gave me a $2 each way bet on the Melbourne Cup each year. But I did have some luck in the Cup.
You did for a long time.
Yeah. Shout out to Viewed. My guy. Bought all the whiz fizzes in the world.
Let's go.
But
And from then you were hooked.
But yeah, he was brilliant. I think he ended up being a 10-time Group 1 winner.
Yeah, 10 times, I think. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So, and, you know, who's his most successful progeny?
Sosibon, obviously.
1.8 million is one.
Yeah.
Just a money spinner, that boy.
Good looking horse too.
Yeah, well, So You Think. I think he's the,
Yeah.
you know how
Absolute stud.
you know how you look at like old school photos, like black and white, and it's just like of your granddad or something. And you're like, oh, he was a good looking rooster.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
just
like that. Yeah.
And they just look strong. Back in the day, that'd be him.
That would be
Yeah.
him.
And going back to that, actually, Sheamus Award, he won the Cox Plate as a 3-year-old in 2013. He's already got another champion.
Yeah.
So he was born in 2010. We're 17 years older than him. Sheamus Award, and he's already kicking goals. He'll be a grandfather soon.
What a guy. You'd hope so.
Yeah.
The last one on this list, well, she did race against the mighty mare, but I don't think anyone knew what we were in for because Winks went around at $4.40 that day in her
Silly.
first Cox Plate.
Silly price.
And I heard during the week on RSN, Hugh Bowman was weighing up the ride for her and another horse.
No way.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Like, Hugh has his criticisms, right?
Yeah.
He gave, and he didn't have to do much on it, but you still had to get the job done.
Yeah, and the pressure of a nation,
100%.
it certainly adds an extra few kegs on your back when you're riding her.
Like 33 wins in a row. That's a long time.
25 Group 1s.
Yeah.
25 Group 1s, mate.
Unbelievable.
Oh, gee whiz.
Anyway, we're not talking about Winks. We're talking about Yankee Rose.
Sorry, Winks.
Who ran third behind her by about 8 lengths. But so many other horses were disgraced in that race. Yankee Rose wasn't. I think she started about the $13 quote. And she won. I think she won the Flight Stakes in the lead up, and she actually won against the boys in one. I can't remember. It was about a month. It's a few weeks before it we just had a spring champion. That's what she won.
Okay.
She won the spring champion as well. So against the boys, I think Montefilia is the only mare to do it since, or filly to do it since. So she was a really classy horse, but she only raced at the track 2 more times.
Oh, right.
One of those times, she started $1.90 favourite in the VRC Oaks, and that's the famous footage of Brennan Abdullah on the Squetty Spirit just going out 150 to 1. He's taken off with about 1,000 to go, and he's like 20 lengths in front of everyone, and his horse is crawling to the line, but everyone else just couldn't keep up with him. Poor old Yankee Rose finished, she lost by 20 lengths. The Squetty Spirit in the Oaks wins by 20 lengths, 150 to 1, and Brendan Abdullah does the old bow in the irons.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, but Yankee Rose, she's at stud now, so
Yeah, right. Okay.
love to see it.
So, yeah, I guess all in all, drifters, 3-year-olds can run super well in the Cox Plate, and some have gone on to do huge things. So, look, if one of if Captivant or Animo ends up being another So You Think, well, gee whiz, we've got a superstar on our hands. But
Wouldn't that be nice?
wouldn't that be nice? But anyway, thanks to Ladbrokes.
Thanks, guys.
I know it's a big weekend for you guys. Hopefully everything goes well.
Wish you nothing but the best. Okay. Let me put my reading glasses on because we're doing another runner by runner. We had some good feedback during the week.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. And, we don't have a field of 18 this time.
So we're doing runner by runner in the Manikato.
No. We'll do do you want to kick off with the Manikato?
Well, it's beforehand.
It makes sense. Okay. I potted the Metropolitan. That actually turned out to be a very nice race.
It was a great race.
It was a great race. Form held up pretty well. Montefilia ran, 4th or 5th?
Yep. Entente ran 3rd.
Yeah, in definitely lesser grade, but that was his, 4th run in 5 weeks. Montefilia surprised me in the Caulfield Cup.
Yep.
She got spanked, but she ran 4th or 5th. That
She did, yeah.
Good effort. So we potted that race. Now, it's not the Manikato Stakes' fault. It's not.
No.
Because the Everest is just rocked into town, and it's just taken all the big big horses.
the big horses.
The big horses, and they're just strutting their stuff in Sydney. So, look, I'll say it. This is Group 3 at best.
Yeah.
So, when you're looking through the form, you might see Express Pass at Way for Age, and you're like, wow, that's strange in a Group 1, but he doesn't need to be a Group 1 horse to win this. So, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this is an actual Rubik's Cube that I'm trying to decipher because there's chances left, right and centre. I'm not keen on this race whatsoever. I can understand why Savitu Excel's the favourite. I really can. He's a Group 1 winner. His 1,200 metre record is spot on. Draws pretty well. He'll be up there or thereabouts. His first up run was great. He came home really well in the Shalaki Stakes a couple of weeks ago. Never ridden on the Valley. Savitu Excel. Catches some horses out. I'm not 100% sure if he'll catch him out. He's definitely not one of mine.
He's honest as the day is long.
But he's honest, and I think he's a proven Group 1 horse. He's proven over the distance. I think he'll run well.
He's a proven Group 1 horse in Adelaide.
He is. But
not even in Brisbane.
But this race could be bloody ridden in Darwin. The quality of it.
Which that suits him perfectly.
Yeah, it really does. Oh, he really does actually. Yeah, he's got a background in Darwin. But the way I looked at this race, mate, who bloody leads? And it looks like there's going to be a whole stack of them up in that first 2 or 3 pairs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does Savitu Excel lead? Does Crystal Bound lead? Does Jonka lead? Does Lombardo? Does Bella Nipotina? Does La Mexicana? Does Streets of Avalon?
I think for mine, Savitu Excel gets the lead. Crystal Bound probably kicks up underneath him. Streets of Avalon is he knows no other way. That horse has to be one of the worst drawn horses in the history of the game. He can never draw a gate, Streets of Avalon. Lombardo, I reckon, will sit midfield. He'll take a sit. That's how they've been riding him recently, just off the lead. Jonker, I think they'll have intent. I think they'll kick forward. And
Positive intent.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they kicked up inside Savitu Excel trying to keep him wide and cast him. So I think that's your speed. La Mexicano will go forward, but and even Swats that can go forward.
Yeah.
So I reckon they'll sort themselves out based on the barriers, obviously. But I reckon I have Jonker, Crystal Bound, and Savitu Excel fighting out the front, and Streets of Avalon will be the other one up there.
Yeah. Stack of early speed. Moonee Valley, as you know, you want to find a position on the rails.
You do. And if the rain misses, which apparently it's now scheduled to hit after the Friday night meeting, not during. So, but honestly, the rain at the moment is an absolute gamble. So I'm leaning towards having something on pace here.
Yeah.
And when I looked through this field, I had a look through. It might be, it's not a Group 1 quality, but there is still some Group 1 performers in here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might pot their form, but I think now that Dispatch has been scratched, there's only 3 not Group 1, but weight for age horses in this race. And that is the top 3 in the running order. That's Streets of Avalon, Jonker, and Savitu XL. I think it's between the 3 of them.
Yeah, fair.
I'm potting that I have to have an opinion on these 3-year-olds, and I think they're no good.
Mm-hmm.
If I think of them, Ingratiating is probably the best 3-year-old of them, but I'm happy to take him on because he was very flat last start.
He was.
I've got Jonker on top here.
Yeah.
I've got Jonker on top. He's been racing against far better horses than these. He was only 3 lengths off Masked Crusader last start, and he was all dressed up, nowhere to go.
Yeah.
He was just in front of bums.
Yeah, he literally had nowhere to go, the Queenslander.
He was out with 100 to go, went up on the rail, and he made up some ground late. First up, he was lame.
Mm-hmm.
He was found to be lame in the stewards report, and he still only finished 3 lengths off him. I'm happy to have him on top here.
Yeah.
Daniel Moore's in good form.
He is. Loves the Valley.
Yeah, he does.
Buckets.
Barrier 5, I reckon he's probably drawn a little bit better than Savitu XL. But my goodness, mate, I'm keen to play in this race.
Some value.
I'm having a Quinella 1-2-4.
Yeah.
Streets of Avalon. I nearly picked him on top here. Like, he is a sneaky good horse around the valley. Sneaky good horse. Loves it bone dry, which I think it will be.
Mm-hmm.
His best form has been at 1400. He's a 2-time Group 1 winner at the 1400 metres. But I think in his recent form, he's actually been racing quite well at the 1200. And he's 6 weeks between runs here, and he's got a pretty decent first up profile. So I think they've freshened him up. He'll be ready to go here. I think he's well over the odds for mine at $31. So
yeah, juicy.
And then Savitu XL rounds out my trifecta.
Fair enough, mate. I think Savitu XL will run well.
Same.
Yeah. I don't see why he doesn't.
No.
He's proven. Or because he won at big odds in a Group 1 in Adelaide doesn't mean it won't happen again.
No. Tony and Calvin won the race last year with Haydock.
They did. Lou Curry, he's a good job.
He is.
So I think Savitu XL is a really good chance. I like Bella Nipotina.
Yeah.
She's an honest horse. She's going real well at the moment. She finished just behind Savitu XL and Dosh last start in the Shalaki. Interesting about that race, she dropped back 100 metres from the 1200 where she won at Caulfield. And it looked like the way she was hitting the line, if it was 1200 metres, she might have got over the top of Savitu XL. And definitely Dosh, maybe Savitu XL. I think she runs well. Drawn a little bit awkwardly for mine because she'll come out at barrier 1. Mate, she might even take up the lead, but I think she'll be pushed back and maybe be a few pairs back. Will she get a break to run out? I'm not 100% sure. Look, she's ran at the track twice. She's finished second twice at the distance. So Actually, she's ran at the track 4 times for 3 seconds. So she can get around the valley. I think she'll run super well, Bella Nipotina. So I'll probably have her on top of Sabato Excel. Look, the 3-year-olds, jury's out for mine. I said to you during the week, I'm keen to see how they go. But as in, if they don't do anything, line through them. Never again. But I've got a feeling about Sneaky 5. I think she's a special filly.
Yes.
Yep. I think she'll sit about midfield. She'll need a lot of luck. She'll need to peel out and kick. I don't know if I want to dive in at that price of $8.50.
No, and one thing I've started doing is looking at horses that have had this long let off. Yeah. So recent times, a great example is Harbour Views. Had 52 weeks off, beat Ayrton. Next run was really flat. I reckon she could be due for a flat one.
She could be.
But if she's, Kiramar David Eustace, she could be brilliant.
She could be. But Dean Yendall on board.
Yeah, he can get low.
He gets so low.
I was contemplating Bella Nipotina as well. My big query on her was her wins this prep have been against the mares.
Yes.
So, but she did run well last start. Probably dropping back to the 1100 didn't help. So, and yeah, obviously barrier 1 at the Valley is a little bit sticky. But so you got Bella Nipotina on top.
I'll go Bella for now. Sabato Excel and Sneaky 5. But anything could win this. Lombardo, Swatsack could run a race. La Mexicana and Gracia. Oh yeah.
Lovely. Well, I think we've spent more than enough time on that race.
Heaps of time.
Let's get on to the Ladbrokes Cox Plate. So, runner by runner preview. I believe you have the odds.
I have the odds. Number 1, the Big Z, Zaki. Been favourite for this race for about 3 years, I think, mate.
Been paid out by some agencies.
Been paid out by some, yeah. You're getting about $3 for him now, which I think is a fair price. Yes, he was flat last start. You can make all the excuses in the world, but I just think the few things didn't go his way and he just didn't like it. J-Mac comes down from Sydney. That's a massive tick. I saw today Annabelle Neesham's able to get trackside, which is a huge omen. I think drawing barrier 6, he could very well lead, dictate pace and kick and be too strong for these. I think he's in with a red hot crack. I think he'll prefer Moonee Valley to Caulfield and Flemington. We'll sit up. We'll have every chance. I think he's a massive winning chance, Zaki.
Absolutely. His track goals during the week have looked brilliant.
Yeah.
Working against Mwanga, who, to be fair, is not a great track galloper by all reports, but he was still looking nice.
Yeah, and if you've seen pictures and footage of Zaki this week, he looks an absolute treat.
Big chest on him.
Yep. This has been his grand final for basically since he ran in the Doncaster.
Yeah.
Earlier this year. Since he got here. So, he'll be ready to go, Zaki.
100%. Dalasan, look, this horse is honest. I was hoping, and if he still goes there next week, I was hoping he'd run in a Cantala. I thought he'd be a brilliant bet there.
He would.
This is a bit of an ask. Look, he ran with a heavy weight in the Epsom. He finished off quite well there. Probably finished off a little bit better than Mwanga. He probably had a little bit of weight relief on that galloper. Look, I don't think he's classy enough to win this.
No.
Wouldn't be totally surprised if he ran a place. I would be shocked if he won.
Yeah, I'd be shocked.
So, next horse.
On to the next one. Number 3, Gold Trip. French horse. Might not run. As it turns out, obviously some vet issues today.
Done his hammy again.
Yeah. Declan Jones hammies. Fingers crossed he runs though, because it'd be great to see him. French horse, placed in G1s overseas, ran 4th in Arc de Triomphe. That's good form.
Yeah.
Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace obviously brought over a European horse, Sir Dragonet, rest in peace, who won last year. So, something similar could happen here if he runs at all. Europeans in this obviously go pretty well. They don't have the greatest record being first up into a Cox Plate though. So, keen to see how he goes, but won't be in my numbers.
Yes. And if he doesn't run here, we'll still see him because he's staying here.
Yeah, he's with Aussie Bloodstock. So, hopefully he runs, but otherwise we'll see.
Yeah, he's not in my numbers now because of this setback. But on to the next runner who's also had a setback, Call Sign Mav, the New Zealander in the field. His best form is probably over the mile, 1,400 metres to the mile. He's run once at the 2,000 metres and was gapped back to third. As a reference point, he's been very competitive against Avantage and Melody Bell. So that's a clear reference point, but probably at the latter end of Melody Bell's career where she probably wasn't as good. But still, you have to be competitive, and that's the best New Zealand gallopers who were running in New Zealand because probably was running here. It's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
So he's probably one of the better New Zealand gallopers going around these days, but can't have him here.
No, thank you.
But if he does get scratched, he's probably the likely leader. So that's going to add a little bit more intrigue.
Yeah, true. Zaki's stablemate, number 5, Mwanga.
G'day, mate.
Almost a forgotten horse in this, I think. You could get as much as $21 when markets first opened with Ladbrokes. Into $13 now, Mwanga. Beat Very Elegant first up. Almost beat Incentivize.
It's fair form.
Yep. Carried his tackle weight in the Epsom and finished off strongly. I think if he drew a better barrier there, he might have finished closer to the lead. If he was lightly weighted in that, he wins. This is obviously an acid test for Mwanga. Blinkers go on. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in the finish.
Yeah, no, agreed. I had to have a set against some of them.
You can't have them all.
I can't have them all. I'm risking him. I'm also risking one of the queens of the turf, Very Elegant. Tongue tie first time.
Interesting, I thought.
Breathing issues for mine, which I found fascinating. It's just pointing to me that she's just not right this prep.
No.
Just something's off. She might have been in season last run. Her blood work was a little bit off. She might have had the flu, apparently. You know who this reminds me of? And my guy, who I found out during the week, Nature Strip has hay fever.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so he doesn't have straw or hay in his barn. He has like newspaper or something. And that's why he always goes better in the autumn because spring hasn't sprung. It's not messing up with his hay fever.
So drifters, I have hay fever like no one else. It just I can sneeze with the best of them. But Chris Waller's even figured that out for the horse, and that's what happened to him last spring.
Yep,
he just had hay fever every weekend. He was bloody knackered, and he went out there and tried his best.
He just couldn't do it.
And I have no doubt Very Elegant will do the same. I have to have some sort of set against some horses in this race. She's one of them. I don't have her in my top 4. So
okay. Probabile. Speaking of Kiwi horses. She's a tough horse, Probabile. Definitely one of ours. She's failed at Moonee Valley before. You'd probably have to say the conditions weren't there to suit. Look, I think if she gets a soft 5 or better, she'll run a cracking race. Beat Zaki last start. Jeez, that's pretty good form. And I tell you what, with Ladbrokes, you're getting $14 to find out. I reckon that's slightly overs for Probabile. She ticked a 2,000 metre box last start, but she is not in my numbers.
I feel like everything went right for her last start.
Fair.
And one thing that I saw in the steward's vision of that run as well, in the last 100, she was off her legs. She got jelly legs. She was going left to right. So she was right at the end of her capabilities. And
her class is getting her there.
Yeah, but Nonconformist went on to run second in the Caulfield Cup.
It's good form.
So, form franked somewhat. I just think Zaki's a better proposition over at this elite field. Anyway, state of rest. The other European in the race. An American Group 1 winner.
Yeah.
He was
on dirt.
He was quite impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Lightly raced, state of rest.
Yep. How many starts he got? The 8 of them. 8 of them. By all reports, this horse wants it dry. So keep that in your calculations. But this is once you tune in to Get On later tonight, or it was on last night, or it was on the other week or the other year, whenever you're listening to this. Jason Richardson's pick, State of Rest.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
So you have to respect the man.
Oh, God, yeah.
Joseph O'Brien can bring a horse over here. I think his win in that Saratoga Group 1 in America was quite impressive, the way he just picked up and he gapped him. I think it was Bolshoi Ballet, the horse who was the heavy favourite in that race, went on to frank the form in Europe after that. So I think State of Rest is right in the game here, and he's in my numbers.
There you go. Mo! Animo!
$4.
$4. Sheesh. That is short. Oh, look, everyone who listens to this podcast, who watches us on YouTube, knows I am a huge fan of Mo. He's a talented horse. Gets the featherweight here. Craig Williams on board. Drew barrier 10. Which, do you know what? I don't think that's a massive deal for Mo, because I don't think he was going to take a lead. But when 3-year-olds have gone well, as we were talking about before in the Cox Plate, they've made use of their featherweight. He'll be coming home like a freight train. I'm just worried that he'll have too much ground to make up. Mo, he's in my numbers. I think he'll run a cracking race. If he wins, geez, good on him. and good on him. And he's going to be a champion horse. And it's probably will be the last time we see him. I'll probably take him to the autumn. But anyway, yeah. But you got to risk some things, don't you?
You do. And the last horse in the field is Captivant.
Captivant, another 3-year-old who ran well in the Guineas.
By far, head and shoulders, the best roughie in this race.
Yep.
For mine. $18 you're getting. I'm having something at that price. For sure. I think I either said it on this podcast or I said it to you previously. When 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, or in their 2-year-old season, when horses are winning at the mile, they're just going to keep progressing once they get older. This bloke, his 2 peak runs have been at the mile. He had the Champagne as a 2-year-old where he was brilliant. And then he also, or was it the Champagne or the JJ Atkins? One or the two. He ran out of his skin. Then he also ran brilliantly in the Guineas last start. And he didn't lie down against Animo. He nearly grounded that horse away. And I have a feeling he's going to be the one that kicks up from the barrier, and he might even lead. And with the featherweight, and if he can, get Zaki to go mad again, he could be the one that just is a bit of a fly in the ointment there. So I think he's a brilliant chance in this race. Well over the odds. He's in my numbers.
Fair enough. Yeah, mate. Look, I can see him running well. I think drawing barrier 1 suits because, I think he'll kick up and be there or thereabouts early doors. Who you got winning?
Zaki.
Yeah, same.
I have Zaki on top from State of Rest and Captivant.
Fair. Zaki on top for mine. This is his grand final. Always has been. If he runs anywhere near his peak, he wins. Easy. He's mine on top. I've got to put Mo on my numbers. I love that horse. And I think things aren't quite right with Very Elegant at the moment, but I'm a huge fan. I respect her. The Chris Waller magic might bring her home. I'll have her running into third, but Zaki for mine.
Now, you know what we need to do. We need to get some actual sense on this podcast.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Now, this man has been on previously.
He has.
And he knows what he's talking about.
In this studio.
First ever podcast in this studio.
Yep. Hello, this is Sam.
She-Boss.
How are we, folks?
Yeah, good. How are you, mate?
Mate, not bad. I've been sitting in my car for 15 minutes and I thought, now they'll call in a sec. I've got out and I've got my little post-it note with all my tips and it's dropped on the wet road.
Oh, no. Mate, We're sorry. We thought we'd talk about the Manikato for about 30 seconds and we talked about it for about 10 minutes. So hence the delay. But anyway.
That's all right. I'll live.
Drifters, we've got Sam Sheehan on the podcast, the S in SJC Thoroughbreds. Mate, do you want to tell us a little bit about SJC?
Yeah, so we're basically a group of young fellas that are putting together horses and syndicating them for other young, like-minded people. So we've probably got 11 horses now that we've filled up with, just young people, whether it's first-timers or people that have 5 or 6 horses, just looking to get more young individuals involved in racing.
Love it, mate.
That's so heartwarming. I love to hear that. I love it.
Oh, I'm glad I could warm your heart up on a cold spring evening.
Thanks, bruh. Let's get on to the Manikato, mate. How did you figure out this Rubik's Cube?
Well, that's exactly what it is, a Rubik's Cube. I mean, last year, for me, it was an easy winner, loving Gabby. Don't think it was ever in doubt. So I think the race has dropped a lot in class, looking back. So
it's one of the great understatements.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm having a look at, you have a look at the field and, there's names you recognise, but this is a Group 1 race. I'm not sure if it's a Group 1 field, but, I mean, anyway, we're here, and that's the main thing. I've actually gone, I know I've got a few that are meant to be rough each way, but in this race I've gone Bella Nipotina on top. I just think the barrier is going to play a big part, and I don't know, I just think she's going to be hard to hold out coming on a bit later in the race. It's obviously hard to know whether the speed's on or off at the moment or how the track's playing, but 9 times out of 10 I'm a leader's man at the Valley, Moonee Valley, but I'm looking back at it and every single one of my picks is not a leader. So I'm probably going to eat my words as I look at my ink dripping post-it notes. And then, I've got a close second to this. I was doing some form with actually a mate, Posse. Shout out to Posse. He knows who he is. I think What's That is going to be something at $20. I think it's going to be a bit of a smoky here. I mean, from last year, earlier this year, it's got a bit of Masked Crusader form, and I think we've seen how well that's come on this prep. Obviously, you never know coming into a different prep if the horse is going to come on or not. But I think you can chuck that in there. From a White Barrett's got the car park, but I think that those two are going to be the ones that are up there. Wow. I'll throw an honourable mention out to Jonker. He's burned me twice. I was expecting good things, so he'll probably win. But I just can't back him. I can't do it.
Fair enough, mate. Well, you've convinced me to put that Quinella on for those 3, so that could pay anything.
Mate, it'll be big.
Yeah. What about the Cox Plate,
the
mate?
The lead.
Now, this is a Group 1 field, this field. How did you find the Cox Plate?
I mean, there's obviously a lot of media and talk around Zaki. What's on it that's really got me stumped here is I think it's around 280, or I think it was around that this morning. So you've got Zaki at 280, and then Probabeel that rolled it. I think it's at 13s or 12s or something like that, which doesn't make heaps of sense to me. I'd be more inclined to take Probabeel as an each way. Like Probabeel to place would be well over what Zaki is to win. But after rambling on about those two for a second, I'm going a smoky. I'm a huge fan of an international horse, and we've got State of Rest here at I think it was just under 10s this morning, around about that. I think it's hard to pin overseas group form here in Australia, but I've got a feeling that the O'Briens will really get him going over here. And yeah, I don't know. I've just got a feeling. I can feel it in my waters, boys.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut, and you might even get a better price. So he's $11 at the moment, but I reckon they're going to come for Animo late, And so you could even have a Quinella play there, State of Rest in Jazaki, which would be very nice.
It would be tasty. And I mean, Animo, like 49.5 kilos, not many jockeys are getting to that. And Craig Williams, I know he hasn't ridden many winners lately, but he does know how to ride them. And he was on Gabby at the Valley last year. So, I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. All right, so what about your value play across the weekend? You have basically 2 days to choose from. So who's your value?
Yeah. So I've gone Saturday, Doomben, and race 10. So we've got a ex-Godolphin horse in face-off here. Kyle Wilson-Taylor claiming 3. I mean, he's carrying, an absolute village. He's got 64.
64 kegs. Mate, pretty sure I could get to that weight.
Yeah, I think I am that way. And yeah, like I just think he comes down to 61. For me, he seems the class horse in that race. Yeah. Obviously contemptuous. It'll go light down to 53, but I just think that's the roughie of the weekend. 16 and 460. I think it's worth a nibble each way as a roughie, even though a couple of my other picks are probably rougher than that. Outside the main races, it's based off for me.
Yeah, that's a great case, and you're getting $16 to find out. He's obviously the top weight in the race. Race 10, number 1, faced Austin Doomben. What about your?
It'll be the get out state. That one.
What about the each way of the day, mate?
Yeah, so I've stayed with Doomben. You know, why change what you know? I've gone race 6. So a golden horse put on the red light. So we were all on it. And when I say all, there was a few of us at the pub. We were all on it then. And I just think it looks like it could be something pretty special. It's going to come a long way off that first run it had. And what is it, 8.50 into 5. So if you're getting $5, I think there's still a bit of value around at those prices. Obviously, there's a few other young, good horses in there as well. But I just think it's going to get it done.
Lovely. And is your best in Brisbane as well?
No, it's not. It's back to Moonee Valley for the best of the day. It's short, and I hate myself for this, so it's going to get rolled for sure. But it's Forget You. I think it's at $2-ish.
Yeah, Forget You, $2. Yeah, race 7.
Yeah, I just think
6.
Like it's better than bank interest. I think you just have to look at it like that. It's I just can't see that one losing.
Yeah, look, it's the logical favourite in the Victoria Derby for a reason. So
yeah, 100%.
Ran brilliantly in the Guineas. Look, I can't knock any of those tips at all.
Nah, I'm with you, mate.
You've made too much sense.
Oh,
so much logic. You're just spewing up logic.
Well, and that's it. And I can't even read my post-it note anymore. So
you've done well.
That's when you know it's real. If I truly believe it and I'm not reading it from being written down, then how can you go wrong?
You didn't actually even check the form. This is just trusting your gut that they're running. You can even remember the races.
No. Why do you need to know what race it is when you know the winner?
True.
That's true, mate. All right. Anything else to add there, She-Boss?
No, I think that's it, boys. I think good luck to everyone punting this weekend. I think we might have a soft track in at Doomben, so that could absolutely wipe out every single one of my Doomben tips. But, hey, who knows?
Mate, I thought you were going to have a bit of a rant at racing in Victoria because you're a fan of a Japanese horse that's not taking the field in the Cox Plate.
I sat in my car for 20 minutes and I thought, you know what, I've started a feud on Twitter with Racing Victoria, and you're right, I should continue on with it. It absolutely baffles me that a horse that runs 4th in a Group 1 Wing Stakes is deemed to not have good enough form to run in the Cox Plate. Every run it's had here has been against it on the speed map. Racing Victoria, I don't even know if you can swear on this podcast, but you're just twat, honestly. You hardly got viewers last weekend with the Everest on. You're kicking out the Japanese horses. It's just disrespectful, I think. You got
Just
a
dumb
7-year-old
footy.
stallion going, your 7-year-old stallion is. Just
Yeah.
let the boys play.
It's a good point you
Anyway,
make. It's a great
mate,
point you make.
I could blow up at this forever. If you're on Twitter, you can follow me on Sheehan Samuel. I've let the people know there that their inconsistencies have not gone unnoticed,
He's a great
and there'll be an
follow.
inquiry.
He's a great follow, Drifters. We'll obviously get She-Boss across all the socials if you follow us, so you'll find him. But thanks for coming on, mate. Apologies about the delay, but we got there in the end.
That's it, boys. All right, have a good one and good luck.
Thanks, Sammy. Good luck, mate.
Hooray,
See you,
mate.
boys. Bye.
Bye. What a man. He's funny.
State of rest.
State of rest. And I thought he was going probable for a second.
Yeah, he made a case, didn't he?
He did. Roughie of the day.
Race 6, Moonee Valley. Number
Friday
10.
or Saturday?
Oh, on Saturday.
Saturday.
Sorry, mate, just to clarify. Saturday, Moonee Valley, race 6, number 10, Rhinoceros.
Oh, big rhino.
Yeah, stablemate to Elephant. Lightly weighted. This colt's had a good start to his career. He's won at the Valley before, over 1,500 metres, makes a step up to 1,600, draws well. I think at $19, I'll have a throw at the stumps.
It's the Zoo Stakes, isn't it?
It is the Sioux Stakes.
Because you have buffalo, and then you have elephant, and then you have rhinoceros.
Yeah. And you have Be Good to Your Mother too. Chee-hoo.
Okay.
You?
Well, mate, I can't drop off this horse now. I can't. I'm going to the Invitation, the time-honoured first year, the Invitation, number 2. So at Randwick, race 9, number 2, Nudge.
Yeah, you have to.
I can't drop off this horse.
Yeah, you have to.
I think you're going to get a much better price than $12 on the day because I think Trivier there's going to be a lot of money for this horse. She'll be hard to beat, but she has drawn sticky and Nudge is inside her. So if she does take a little sit behind her, she might just follow her home and be too strong.
She might do.
So I think, yeah, Nudge, I've obviously been on for a long time. I hope she wins this because I got the price early in the Invitation. And then I hope she backs up next week in the Empire Rose and wins that.
Man, imagine that.
So that'd be nice. Chris Bowler,
He knows what he's doing, I reckon.
yeah. So Nudge for me.
My each way bet is in Randwick as well. Race 10, number 6, Bellucci Babe. She's an emergency for the Invitation. She's on fire. She's on fire this prep, I reckon, this Bjorn Baker mare. She's honest as they come. 12 career starts. She's only finished out of the top 3 once. She was $5 with Laddies when I was looking at her yesterday. She's coming to $4.50, so still a bit of value there. Bjorn's had a busy week, so maybe his horses will run well this weekend. Bellucci Babe.
Beautiful. Each way for me is on Friday night in the Manikato Stakes itself. I think Jonker is a cracking bet. I think each run he's had excuses. He was lame first up. He ran super second up, just behind a wall of bums.
Just couldn't get past the seats.
Couldn't. I think he's drawn much better here. Has every chance.
Fair enough. My best of the day, I'm with Sam Shan. I know it's only just in the black, $2 with Ladbrokes, but I think Forgot You just wins that race, the Moonee Valley Vase. Race 7 on Saturday, the Valley.
Beautiful. I'm on Friday night again, so I'm playing early. You know who's back?
Who?
Race 2, number 5. Thought of that. This horse is back, mate.
He's back.
He's back. And look who's riding him. Linda's back too.
She can ride a leader.
She can. Remember when this horse, went down for Derby Day, and in the lead-up, they kicked her off when he was winning at Caulfield by 8 lengths, and they put on Mark Zara?
That's right.
She's reunited with him.
That's got to be special.
Special. Look, you're not getting a spoil. He's about the $2. He might even start shorter, but I'm not afraid of anything in this race. I think he's back. If it's a dry track, that's perfect. He gets around the valley, 2,000 meters. Mwah. Let's do it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Now, if you're having a punt this weekend, gamblers, drifters even, all of you, you need to do it responsibly. If gambling is an issue for you, you can call 1800 858 858 or go to the Gambling Help Hotline online. All the resources
Sort
there.
yourself out.
But this weekend, mate, what are we doing?
So we've got an extra special tipping comp for you guys this weekend. We're going to be playing in the Valley on Saturday.
Yes.
Obviously with the Ladbrokes Cox Plate, and the kind people at Ladbrokes have gifted us another prize pack, but this one's a bit more special.
It is.
So the winner is going to get a signed Ladbrokes hat by none other than Peter Moody, trainer of Incentivise, from the Darling Downs region himself, Peter. So you can get that signed hat if you win. And then secondly, you'll get a signed by Jim Cassidy himself biography, Pumper, one of the greatest jockeys of all time. You'll get that book as well if you win the tipping comp. So plenty of time to enter from now, from when you're listening to this. I'll just keep it over here. Yeah, Moonee Valley on Saturday. Get your tips in for the chance to win our greatest Ladbrokes prize pack ever. So thanks to the people at Ladbrokes.
Makes sense. Ladbrokes Cox Plate Week, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Tell you what, we're getting some minutes into these podcasts.
We really are. We talk so much shit.
How did the Manikato get 20 minutes?
Oh, it doesn't deserve it.
Apologies for that, but you know what? By the looks of the numbers, mate,
I think I like what we're putting down.
you know, they're picking up something.
We are already the biggest horse racing podcast based in this suburb of Brisbane. So the only way is up.
Allegedly. Thanks for listening, Drifters. Yeah, we haven't done this sort of stuff in a while, but if you want to support the show, just give us a follow across Instagram, Twitter. Don't really put out that much on Twitter, but, you know, we might eventually.
Yep.
But on Instagram, we do. That's where all our main updates are.
Yep. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe.
Yep.
If you want to see our beautiful mugs, give us a like on there. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, if you subscribe, that'd be unreal. If you leave a comment, we'll comment back. And if you left a review, if you listen on Apple, subscribe, that'd be unreal as well. But we do need to mention, actually, next week, podcast will not be coming out Thursday night.
Yes.
It will be out around Friday midday.
I'd say that, yeah.
Because it's going to be a bit of a special edition because it is Derby Day and we're going to get a few of our mates in to talk all things Derby Day because it is our favourite weekend of the year.
Can't wait, guys. That'll be a special one. Group 1's galore. Hopefully we can help you find some winners.
Wouldn't have thought so. All right. Thanks for listening.
Best of luck, Drifters.